Hey everybody, Mark Z from Mark Z Drums. Thanks a lot for checking out my video. Today I just wanted to give a little background on myself. I wanted to talk a little bit about where I started, when I started playing drums, when I started teaching, and all of that good stuff. So first let me go way back to the very beginning, my origin story, if you will. I was about 6 years old and I found a drum set in a closet. That's the story. We were visiting family friends in California. I'm from New York. I was on a trip with my parents. And one night at a family friend's house, we were having dinner. And after dinner, the adults were sitting around the table having coffee and chatting it up and laughing and having a good time. And since I was the only kid in the house, because their children were away at camp or something, because I was the only kid in the house, I was looking around for something to entertain myself. And I ended up in the oldest son's bedroom, and I opened up the closet to see what I could find. And inside was a lot of shiny parts and stuff, and I decided to just drag it out into the middle of the room and see what all of this was. I pulled out everything to see everything that looked like it belonged together out into the middle of the bedroom. And it turned out to be a 4-piece drum set with a white swirly pearl finish. It was beautiful. And 3 rototoms. So I managed to get the tom-tom mounted on the bass drum. It had one of those tubular tom mounts that went like this and followed the contour of the bass drum, and put the tom-tom on it. And then somehow I figured out, I found the stand for the rototoms and I set it up. And I put the rototoms on. You know how you just slide them on this track and you tighten them down? I did that. And I found a pair of drumsticks. And I just started hitting those drums. And they sounded awesome. Anybody who's played rototoms, you know they sound awesome. Well, it didn't take but a few minutes before I turn around and all the adults are in the doorway looking at me going, "What are you doing?" And I was just like, I don't know. Exploring. So long story short, my dad, recognizing that I was interested in this instrument, bought the drum set from our family friends, because the oldest son wasn't playing them anymore. That's why they were stuck in the closet. And so my dad bought them. I don't know, I think he paid $75 for the whole thing and shipped it back to New York. And that was my very first drum set. I set it up in the corner of my bedroom. And I taught myself how to play rock beats using Kiss records, and then later AC/DC records, and Black Sabbath and Ozzy and those bands. And I was self-taught for a little while, and then I started taking lessons at a local music store. I had originally started playing guitar, or taking guitar lessons, and then the strings hurt my fingers, so I stopped guitar. And we moved me over to drums. Now this probably was before I actually got the drum set. I'm not really sure how the series of events happened, because it was a long time ago. I was 6 years old. It was a long time ago. Anyway, the music store where I took lessons is still there today, and I actually teach there now. So, full circle. I walked in there one day and I just said, do you need a drum teacher? I thought it would be neat to teach in there, and seeing pictures of my very first drum teacher on the wall, because this family still owns the place. He is no longer with us. So yeah, that was it, and then I took lessons in high school. I took lessons in college and was in many different bands, and toured all over and toured the world and recorded many records and played probably thousands of live shows from the time I was in high school and then up through present day. When I was a kid and I got my first drum set, I had a couple of friends around the corner who played guitar, and his brother played bass, and we would jam at my house and we would play Beatles songs. So that was like my first band experience. So anybody out there that's just starting out, or you have your children maybe taking lessons, encourage them to talk to their friends and find out who else plays instruments and get them together with other musicians, even at a young age, because it's super fun and it's really great to help build that passion for music and performing. So that's why I love recitals so much, because recitals are a great way to get the young kids up on stage in a very, very safe environment where they get just praise and love and unconditional love heaped upon them for their performance, which is a great first experience for them to have on stage performing. So that's how I got started. And I always thank my dad for recognizing that and buying that drum set for me. I saved up when I was a teenager. I worked over the summer and I saved up for my very first brand new drum set. Nope, that's not true. My father bought me a Slingerland 5-piece black, beautiful drum set. Once I showed that I was interested and that I was going to continue to play. He bought me that drum set. I saved up in the summertime when I was a teenager and I purchased a Tama Imperial Star drum set in the 80s with the extra deep toms, the big rock outfit. And then I started saving up for a second kick to add to that drum set. And my girlfriend at the time went ahead and paid off the balance for my birthday to get me that second kick drum. And that's when I really started playing with my band, and we started touring all over the tri-state area and the East Coast. And that was when I was young and things were a lot different. But anyway, that's me coming up. That's me coming up as a drummer. And then as a drum teacher, I was studying a bunch of years ago at the Long Island Drum Center. Anybody from New York is familiar with the Long Island Drum Center. I was studying there, and during my time, my instructor said, "Hey, I think you would be a good teacher. Would you like to try it?" At the time, I was working full-time. I really had no time. I was in a couple of different bands. I had no extra time to devote to teaching. But I was intrigued by his suggestion. And so when my work situation changed, I decided to try teaching and to give it a shot. So the couple of things that I realized about teaching when I first started was that it was incredibly difficult. And the second thing I realized was that it was incredibly rewarding. It was incredible. So the hard work that I realized that I had to put into it was well worth it, because the rewards I got out of it were amazing. And I was able to pass on my knowledge and experience to people who wanted it, people who wanted to learn, people who wanted to hear my experience, to hear my knowledge. And so my philosophy of teaching is simple. It is that each one of my students is an individual, and that my job is to figure out what best way to teach them. How do they learn best? What turns them on? What gets them excited? What gets them motivated? What gets them into learning how to play the drums and learning how to appreciate music and learning how to listen to music and learning how to read music and learning how to write music? All of those things. It's another language. If you've ever studied another language, music is certainly another language. It's how musicians communicate with each other. And I believe that it's a wonderful thing for kids to learn. So I teach my students how to read. I teach my students how to write music. I teach my students how to listen to music, what to listen for. If they're trying to play a song, I teach them how to listen for the parts they need to listen for in order to know what to do on the drum set. And then I also teach them how to read music from a song and learn the song by not only reading it on a music sheet, but also listening to it and hearing for those subtle things and dynamics and all of that stuff that we need to know when we're playing music. So reading, I think, is very important. Treating my students as individuals is very important. Practicing is super important. So what I try to do is I teach my students how to practice. I teach them how to efficiently take that time, because kids are super busy today. They have activities and sports and school and all kinds of things. So we need to teach them how to efficiently practice each day so that they're not taking a ton of time and they're getting something accomplished. Once a student realizes that the the act of practice is beneficial to them. Once they realize that it helps them get better, then they're more apt to practice. Then they get hooked on it because they see their own progress. So that's what I try to do. I try to teach my students the importance of practice. And also I teach my students how to tackle a difficult task. How do we approach this piece of music that looks at first glance so difficult? Well, we take it in smaller chunks, we break it down, we see what we can see, we look at what we understand, and then we find out about what we don't understand. So my philosophy is that what I'm teaching my students is not necessarily just about learning drums. It's about how to approach problems, things that come up in life, how to achieve goals, how to make goals and how to achieve goals, how to set them, and what steps to take to achieve those goals. So I think that what I give my students is very valuable in that they're learning about how to approach different things in life. And it's not just about playing the drums. And the same thing when they go to play sports. They learn all kinds of life lessons when they go to play sports. So I believe that that's an important part of my teaching, that I teach them how to be successful. The other thing is holding them accountable. You have to come in the next week having shown some progress, some work, some effort in what you're doing. And I hold them accountable. And so that's another thing, so I have to be a motivator, an educator, a disciplinarian. I have to be an ear because I have to listen to what they have to say. Maybe they have stuff going on at school, maybe they have stuff going on at home. And sometimes they want to confide in me. When I go to my private students' homes, a lot of times I hear about what happened with the dog and what happened at school and what happened with their friends and what happened with the whatever. I become part of the family. And I enjoy that. I love that because it helps me to more understand how to get to the student and how best to approach them with their lessons. So that is my short but very long explanation of my drumming philosophy, my teaching philosophy, and my drumming roots, my origins. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to answer them. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know how you feel about it. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please click the subscription bar and then hit the notification bell. This way, every time I put up new content, you'll be able to see it right away. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.